Hello, a brief introduction about radio.net. Radio.net is a set of computer software components that programmers can use to access data and data services based on disconnected data sets under XML. Actually, it is a part of the base class library that is included with the Microsoft .NET framework. It is commonly used by programmers to access and modify data stored in the relational database systems and also data which is present in non-relational sources. Radio.NET is sometimes considered an evolution of ActiveX Data Objects or ADO. It is a technology. But ADO.NET is much different, or it is different from ADO. That is, much differences are included so that it can be considered as entirely a new product. Again, the two main components of ADO.NET are .NET Framework Data Provider and the Data Set. And these two main components of ADO.NET are for accessing and manipulating data that are in relational systems or non-relational sources. And these are .NET Data Framework Data Provider and Data Set. Again, .NET Framework Data Provider. They are components that have been designed for data manipulation and fast forward-only and read-only access to data. .NET Framework Data Providers are lightweight, creating a minimum layer between the data source and the coder, increasing performance without sacrificing the functionality of the program. The different .NET data providers that are included along with the .NET framework are: one is .NET Framework Data Provider for SQL Server. It provides data access for Microsoft SQL Server, and the name of that one we can call as SQL.NET Data Provider. It uses a namespace called system.data.sql client. Second one is .NET Framework Data Provider for OLEDB. It is for data sources exposed by using OLEDB. It uses the namespace system.data.oledb. Third one is .NET Framework Data Provider for ODBC. This data provider is for data sources exposed by using ODBC. It uses the system.data.odbc namespace. And the fourth one is .NET Framework Data Provider for Oracle. Actually, it is designed for Oracle data sources. The .NET Framework Data Provider for Oracle supports Oracle Client Software version 8.1.7 and later. So, lower versions of Oracle is not supporting. And the namespace is for Oracle.NET Data Provider is system.data.oracle client. And for this, for all the .NET data providers, there are 4 core classes. One is connection, second one is command, third one is data adapter, and the fourth one is data reader. Connection object provides connectivity to the data source. The command object enables access to database commands to return data, that means to select data or to retrieve data, modify data, and to run that modify data, that means to execute DML statements or to run stored procedures, and to send or retrieve parameter informations, etc. This command object is using. And data reader object, it provides a high performance stream of data from the data source. Actually, data reader is read only and forward only. Then the data adapter provides a bridge between dataset object and the data source. Data adapter uses command objects to execute SQL statements at the data source to both load the dataset and load the dataset with the data and reconcile changes that were made to the data in the dataset back to the data source. So, 4 different classes of .NET data providers are: connection, it is to establish a connection with the data source; command, to execute commands like DML commands like insert, update or delete; then data reader, it is a forward only, read only and forward only object to read informations; data adapter, it is also to read informations, but it can data adapter uses command object to execute SQL commands to make changes also in the data. Again, for each .NET data provider, its own specific classes are there for the manipulation or for the access of data. For example, SQL client. See, actually this is for SQL.NET data provider. System.data.sql client is the namespace, and inside this namespace, or this supports different classes. The main classes, like for connection, there is a class called SQL connection. For command, there is a class called SQL command. For SQL data adapter, there is a class called SQL data adapter, and for SQL data reader, SQL data reader is there. SQL data reader class is there. So these classes are used to connect and communicate with the, or to manipulate data present in the database. Again, second component is the dataset. Actually, dataset acts, we can say it acts as a database at client side. And for dataset, there are different classes available, like data table. It is like a table client side. Then data row. So data table is with the data rows, row of informations and columns of informations. That is data row and data column. So to access data by row, we use data row class, and to access informations by column, data column class is there. And also there are different constraints like primary key constraints, foreign key constraints, or unique constraints, etc. is there. So ADO.NET with the 2 core components, one is .NET data framework data provider and dataset. .NET framework data provider is with SQL.NET data provider, OLEDB.NET provider, ODBC.NET data provider, and Oracle .NET data provider. Again, dataset ADO.NET. The ADO.NET dataset, it is explicitly designed for data access independent of any data source. As a result, it can be used with multiple and differing data sources, used with the XML data or used to manage data local to the application. The dataset contains a collection of one or more data table objects consisting of rows and columns of data, and also primary key, foreign key constraint, and relation information about the data in the data table objects. Thank you.